Welcome to the State Department of Education's training series on connecting teaching, learning, and assessment strategies. The purpose of this material is to acquaint you with one of the professional development opportunities provided as a part of the Lee versus Macon lawsuit settlement. As you are aware, Lee versus Macon was the original desegregation order, which included a major component aimed at resolving the statewide issue of racial disparities observed in certain special education exceptionalities at the local school district level. A consent decree was signed in August of 2000. Terms of the consent decree include the requirement that every teacher in the state receive training provided by the State Department of Education in the area of instructional strategies and management of behavior. The materials to be discussed with you address the mandate for training on instructional strategies. Following this video's review of the information contained on the CD, your principal or supervisor will discuss with you the plan for your use of the materials. Each school will receive 3 sets of CDs for teachers to share, and after you work through the materials, there is a required assessment for you to complete and return to your principal as documentation of your participation in training. Each teacher, upon completion of the assessment, will receive a professional development certificate for the hours spent on the activity. I know you will find this information helpful in teaching your classes. Please listen as Dr. Ed Ellis explains the materials and how you can use them to better reach students and make your job easier. Thank you.
I'm Ed Ellis. I'm a professor-type person at the University of Alabama. We're going to be sharing with you, both on this video and the subsequent software, a wide array of strategies and tactics that are designed to be used with a wide array of abilities in students. In general ed classrooms, it's incredibly difficult these days because of the diversity in ability. And very often, teachers are expected to use strategies to accommodate the needs of some students. But the problem with some of those strategies is that they don't have high utility for the whole rest of the classroom. And so what we've been focusing on are the kinds of strategies that are powerful enough, and we know from our research that when teachers use these, they really impact kids with learning problems. So they're powerful enough to impact kids who do struggle with learning, but at the same time have high utility for the whole rest of the class. These strategies, in other words, are also very effective to use with normal and even high-achieving students. So what we'll be doing in this videotape is previewing what some of those strategies are, and then a little bit later in part 2 of the video, we will be taking a tour of the software to show you how to find some of those strategies and tactics on it.
Hello, my name is Marilyn Lipscomb Clark. I'm with the Calhoun County School System, and I have taught for 25 years this year. When I was notified in January of 2000 that I had been selected to represent regular ed teachers to attend a Make Sense Accommodation workshop in Montgomery, my response was joy. I thought, I am so busy. I'm already on this BBSST committee. I am the news and media representative for our school. I have a family. I have a church that I attend and I'm very active in, and I thought, this is one more program that I'm going to have to go to. I'm going to sit through. My back is going to get sore. I'm going to want to get up, and then I'm going to have to drive 3 hours back home, and I will not be able to use any of this theory. I attended the first workshop in Montgomery, sat through the first 30 minutes and thought, wow, this is something new. I know that there are different learning styles, and there is no way that we can accommodate all the different learning styles that they are. I am very concerned with accountability. I'm very concerned with accommodating the special ed children that are in my room due to inclusion. I have taught over 2,000 children, and I love what I do. I treasure every moment that I have with those children. I consider it a privilege and an honor to call myself a public school teacher. When I met Dr. Edwin Ellis and Pam Yandel in Montgomery, they stood up before me and they started talking about what we have been doing is called spray and pray, and that we needed to get down to the core learning, that we need not to water down or dumb down our curriculum. Our children are more important to us than this. We need to hold them up to a standard so that they can pass those high school exit exams, so that they can be successful in their lives. And when I left that first workshop, I thought, yes, they have given me a tool to put in my toolbox so that I can reach not only my special education children through inclusion, but so that I can help my gifted children, my regular ed children, to understand at a greater level so that they can get the overall picture of what's trying to be presented and not just continue to memorize trivia. I am very pleased with what I have learned at these workshops. It has not been a waste of my time. Even though I have taught 25 years, the only comment that I would like to add is that I wish someone had shown these to me 24 years ago. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy using them. They are work extensive up front, but once you have got them planned out, you have them. They will be successful with your children, and after the first lesson, when you present them to your children, and then your children start to do this, and the light starts going on, and you reach that magical moment, you are going to be so thrilled at the success rate that your children achieve, and you know that if your children achieve success, then you are truly a teacher. Thank you so much.
Okay, picture, if you will, a pressure cooker, and then we're going to put the teacher inside the pressure cooker, and then we're going to turn up the heat a little bit. And one of the ways we're going to turn up the heat a little bit is creating inclusion classes where you have to accommodate the needs of kids with disabilities as well as everybody else in your class. Then we'll turn up the heat a little bit more because these classes don't just contain kids with disabilities, but rather an incredible range of diversity, not just in ability, but as well as cultural diversity and any number of factors that you want to consider. Then we'll turn up the heat a little bit more by adding high-stakes testing to our stove and all the pressures associated with high-stakes tests. Turn up the heat a little bit more, and that's all the pressure to cover the standards from the state-mandated curriculum. And then, of course, there's the court mandates, such as pressures created by things like Lee versus Macon. And then we'll turn up the pressure a little bit more in terms of all the paperwork that you have to do as a teacher. And just to cap the whole thing off, we'll throw in a little proration just to sweeten the pot a little bit. It's pretty hard to think about innovative ways of teaching when there's so many other issues at hand. Nonetheless, what this video is about are some really fairly powerful ways of working with kids that reflect a wide range of abilities. In some ways, this presentation is about strategies for turning down the heat on the pressure cooker. Now, you may find that you already use a lot of similar techniques in your classroom, and if this is the case, that's great. And this may just serve, if nothing else, to confirm the outstanding techniques that you are doing already. On the other hand, you may encounter a few new ideas that you might want to try out with your students and see what happens, because really great teachers are constantly looking for new ways to help their students learn. So what we'll do to begin with is just take a look at why these techniques are collectively called make sense strategies. Essentially, the make sense approach is about helping students make sense of complex information and making the information more learnable or accessible for them. It's also designed to make sense to teachers from the perspective of teachers view them as doable, that they don't require too much time and effort to do. Likewise, teachers like what happens when the strategies are used in their classrooms. What this overall approach is about is, to begin with, is really thinking deeply about what students need to know and focusing on making sense of the big ideas of the curriculum rather than on memorizing details. It involves teaching in ways that actively involve students while enhancing their learning, and it focuses on integrating critical, analytical, and creative thinking skills into the curriculum. In essence, it focuses on learning how to learn and learning how to think. A couple of big ideas associated with this approach include getting kids to elaborate on the information to learn it better, and likewise helping them learn how to elaborate. Likewise, it's also